Hi, I'm Sam Martineau, the General Director of the Wasatch Independent Debate League, and I'm really pleased to be able to welcome you to the Wasatch Independent Debate League. I hope you have a great experience. This is a quick video to give you some orientation on how the league works and what you can expect in the league. So let me talk about what I'm going to talk about in this video. First, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the Wasatch Independent Debate League is. Second, the elements of the Wasatch Independent Debate League that you can expect to be involved in and experience as part of the Wasatch Independent Debate League. And third, where you're going to get the information that you need to function successfully in the Wasatch Independent Debate League. So first, who we are. So the Wasatch Independent Debate League provides a number of tournaments throughout the course of the year for students to compete in, and then it has classes where they provide teachers where students can learn the skills and the information necessary to be able to compete in those tournaments throughout the course of the year, and then runs a number of side projects that students can also benefit from as well. So let's talk about the elements that you will be able to experience as part of the Wasatch Independent Debate League. First, if you're in the Wasatch Independent Debate League, obviously you're going to be part of a class. There are 3 levels of classes in the Wasatch Independent Debate League: beginning, intermediate, and elite. Beginning and intermediate generally last 1 year, and then if you're an elite, we have a rotating curriculum where a student can take elite from the time that they get into the elite class all the way until the time that they graduate. Those classes are going to happen 2 hours once a week, 32 weeks generally throughout the year, and then when those start and when those end, and when the breaks are going to be in those classes is going to depend heavily upon which teacher you have. So you want to pay attention to the calendar or the schedule for your teacher, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. Besides classes, you're also going to have homework. The type of homework that you have is going to depend heavily upon the type of class that you're in. If you're in a beginning class, you are going to have homework laid out in your shared class folder in a document called the Weekly Homework Assignments. In the Weekly Homework Assignments, it lays out week by week what the homework is that you are to do for that week. So you're going to want to make sure you have access to that folder. If you can't get access to that folder, you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely talk to your teacher so that you have access to your shared class folder, and then you'll be able to see which week that you're on. If you have questions about that, which week that you're on, or if there's a question about what you should be doing as a part of that week, get in contact with your teacher. They're the person who's going to be able to answer that question best for you. If you're in an intermediate or an elite class, homework is quite different. Instead of having a list each week of the things that you're supposed to do, students have a great deal of choice as to what it is that they pursue for homework. But that choice is, they exercise that choice within a structure. That structure is laid out in 2 documents in your shared class folder. The first document is either titled Intermediate Assignments or it's titled Elite Assignments, just depending on which class you're in. That document is going to lay out the elements of the class, and then it's also going to lay out what the requirements are for homework. So read that document thoroughly so you can understand how your homework works. The second document that you're going to want to pay attention to is called Approved Off-Day and Homework Activities. That document is going to lay out some of the restrictions or the opportunities that you have in homework. And when you take it in concert with your assignments document, it will give you a really good idea of the sorts of things that you can choose to do for homework. So homework's the second thing that you're going to be experiencing. Now to the third, and that is tournaments. The Wasatch Independent Debate League, it runs about monthly tournaments from October to April, approximately 7 tournaments per year, and then that number may grow as the number of students taking the class grows. But you're going to have at least 7 tournaments available to you throughout the course of the year. Students are required to compete in 4 tournaments. Parents are required to judge at 1 tournament per student in the class per year. And I'll note that that could be parents, but it could also be an adult older sibling, a grandparent, or anyone that's connected with the student that is willing to judge at the tournament. Now, as far as the details of tournaments goes, we're going to have a separate video where you can take a look at that information, where you'll get a chance to understand better, what sort of events we have available and what the divisions are and what it's going to take to go to a tournament. What we'll say here is that you're required to go to 4 if you're a student, and you can go to as many as you want. You can go up to all 7 of them, and you're required to judge at 1 if you're a parent per student you have in the class per year. The only note I'll make here is that those requirements are for a full tournament, not for a partial tournament. So you want to get yourself ready to compete in full tournaments and to judge at full tournaments as well. Finally, we have a number of other activities that you can get involved in as a part of the Wasatch Independent Debate League. For example, we run a food drive every year, and classes compete against each other, and we announce our winner at the December tournament, and it's a really exciting, fun part of being a part of the Wasatch Independent Debate League. So, and I'll note that we always gather an awful lot of food, and we fill out food banks. It's really exciting. We also have a humanitarian trip in the summer. We also have a civic advocacy group that advocates for issues that are important to them at the UN and at the state legislature. We do Model United Nation as a group. We compete in that. We also have a podcast that we run through our student council. They take students on, they ask them about current events. It's really exciting, and a lot of other things that are going on as well. The only thing I'll note is that if you want to know what's going on with these other items, you just want to pay attention to the information that comes out from the Wasatch Independent Debate League and keep yourself up to date. So, speaking about the information that comes out from the Wasatch Independent Debate League, let's talk about the places where you can get information from the Wasatch Independent Debate League. First, we have our website, wasatchdebate.org. The tab or the subcategory that would be most interesting to you is likely the current students tab or subcategory on the menu. On that, we have all sorts of information that would be important to you. For example, we have our calendar. That calendar is going to have on it, the date when your classes start, the date when your classes end, when your teacher is taking their fall break and their spring break and their winter break and so forth. So that's going to be important to you, but it's also going to have the tournament dates on it. And I'll note that on the calendar, you can also just click a button that's going to add the Google Calendar right onto your calendar. Can I suggest that everyone does that? Because what's going to happen is you're going to take the calendar, you're going to write down the dates on your physical calendar, and then maybe something will change or something will get added to the calendar. If you add it to your Google Calendar, it will update as we update it, and so it will keep you informed as to what's going on. Not to mention that you'll be able to put notifications on there so you can stay up to date as to what's going on, or not forget that a tournament's coming up in a month and until it's the day before the tournament or something of that nature. The other items that you have on there are a curriculum page. The curriculum page has a password. That password has been sent out by in the weekly email, and if you don't have it, you can talk to your teacher or you can talk to our administrator, Charlotte, and we can get you that password. But that has all the curriculum videos. It has a breakdown of how to compete in oratory, Lincoln Douglas, extemporaneous, how to get better at researching, and so on and so forth. So that can be a really helpful place for you, a resource for you to just get caught up on something that you forgot or that you would like to look into more. So that's another thing that you want to pay attention to, is the curriculum page. So that being the case, the second item that we're going to talk about is the weekly email. Each week, our administrator, Charlotte, is going to send out an email, and that email is going to be as short as we can get it, really sweet, and we want you to read it every week because that's just going to have the information that you need to know. In each weekly email, it's going to have headings, so if you can read a heading and know if that's something that pertains to you, and you can decide to read it or not read it. So it's not going to take you a lot of time, and we try to keep them really clean, but it's going to keep you up to date on what's coming up in the immediate future and things that you should be aware of. So for example, when registration for a certain tournament opens, that's going to show up in the weekly email. You're going to want to pay attention to that. Next, we have the newsletter. The newsletter is going to come out monthly. The newsletter is not going to be the nitty-gritty details that you need to be aware of what's coming up right now. The newsletter is more of the interesting and the fun things going on in the Wasatch Independent Debate League. It's going to talk about ways that you can get involved and just the exciting projects that we have going on. It also has information from the teachers, ideas about teaching and being a better teacher and just about education generally. So I'd highly encourage you that you read that. You should be getting the weekly newsletter or the monthly newsletter, but if you're not, then you can always ask Charlotte to put you on the list, and she can definitely get you on there. Next, if you have further questions besides the information that is found on the website, the weekly email, and the newsletter, then go ahead and you can talk to either Charlotte or your teacher. Charlotte, our administrator, she can answer questions about the league generally. Anything that's not specific to your class, just direct a question toward her. And if you have a question about your class specifically, then go ahead and talk to your teacher, and they should be the best person to answer that. Hopefully you found this information helpful. We're really excited that you're in the Wasatch Independent Debate League, and we want to make sure you have a really great experience. So thanks for watching and have a great day.